Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
We've got Josh, we've got Eric. Josh, let's start with you. You have been a pawnbroker for a while. Give us a little bit of history about your pawn experience when you opened up the shop, why you opened up the shop, and what the shop is currently doing.
Oh, wow. So that's going back 25 years. We started actually as a buy, sell, and trade because at that time in the state of Pennsylvania, it was very difficult to get those licenses. So we started as a buy, sell, and trade, and we had few stores over there. And then later on in life, we moved to Florida. In Florida, we started actually to become a pawnbrokers. And that was probably like 15 years ago. The journey it's absolutely crazy because it's made us very, very well financially. We decided to expand it with more stores, and I love it. I love it. I wake up in the morning because I know I'm going to go into exciting world of every day is different day. I love my people. I love the urgency for our type of business. We actually able to help people get better wealth financially and be able to live life, I guess.
Amazing. So how many stores do you currently have?
Right now we have 2 stores. Now we have 2 stores. We sold about three of them. We sold, moved on, and looking now into the next journey in life, and that's a private investigation.
Amazing. And just so people, because a lot of people who listen to the show probably know Gina as well, right? She works with you, partner in crime.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, Eric. Not the best choice of words, but and she's a force to be reckoned with. She's always supporting and out there and helping the industry. So thank you to you guys for being a support to the industry as well, and not just pawnbrokers making money.
Thank you. Thank you. We are actually very happy to be part of the Pawn Association. We always like to help. We have a lot of people actually stopping as they're coming to Florida. We always we are open books. We will love to let people come into our establishment and learn and see what they can teach us and what they can take from us. Always welcome.
And so just for the name of your stores so people know.
Pawn USA.
Awesome. Very fun.
And so in West Virginia, we have also a store. It's called Players Pawn as well.
Awesome. Very cool. So with you, you've got Eric, and the reason why you guys are on the podcast isn't to talk about pawn. Obviously, you've been a successful pawnbroker, built stores, sold stores, have stores, the whole 9 yards, back and forth. But you've created something different in PI Force, private investigations. And so tell us a little about why you guys started this, and then Eric, we'll talk about your background and how you guys partnered and what this brings to the industry and why pawnbrokers should think about using a service like this.
So I can tell you right from the get-go that ever since the day one, where even I was buy, sell, and trade or pawnbroker, one of the things that we always had is a great relationship with police. We know that constantly police comes and looking for any items that might be stolen or belong to somebody else, and they over the years you start to understand that what do they need from you and what you need from them. And so I can tell you that we always try to keep that relationship as solid as possible, because they look after you, you look after them, you help each other. But more importantly, I can say that over the years, I even got to understand that some detective or some police force are different in every state or location that I had. Some people look at you as a victim. Some look at you as a criminal, and I can say that you have to play it like nice, no matter what it is. But when I came here and I moved to this location in Orlando, one of the things that I noticed right away that when Eric was detective in charge at our county, he started to approach more often at some of the cases that came along, and I realized that he is different than others. Right away, I knew that this is a guy that cares not only about one side, he looks at the whole pictures. And he understood right away that we are really could be very much a victim. Meaning that if you are buying something and you know you did everything right and you ask the right questions, is that item is yours, what do you want for it, deal the right price, negotiation, everything, you've done it right, signed the paper, did everything right, and then 2 days later, detective comes and knocks on your door and says, hey, I need to take that away from you, it's not yours. So what really are we? I mean, if you know that you didn't ask that person to go steal it for you, then you didn't do nothing wrong, right? Most pawnbrokers, they're good people. We know that we don't want to get into that side of the police. So he understood right away that the moment we bought something that is stolen, we have the right at least to get paid. And so what he did, he started to explain to the people from his perspective and not from my perspective. From my perspective is, hey, I didn't do nothing wrong. I want my money. I don't care. And so that's only built tension. But when a police officer comes and says, explain to them in the right way, according to the law, is really, really helping you a lot to achieve that. And so part of the things that I right away took from him is that this is the type of guy that I would like to go eventually into business. And so we talked for a few years, and this is how we did it. And another very, very important way to understand what a good detective does is that they know how to look at case review. They know how to, when they read the report from the victim and getting you involved now they know how to coordinate that reports into a better outcome. Better outcome is like, I don't have to lose, the victim don't have to lose. So what is the solution? Most likely that the real victim that got robbed gonna have to get the money from the courthouse. And so when you explain it like that, you got something good going on here. And this is part of the things.
So you guys put your heads together, Josh and Eric, and you guys came up with PI Force, which essentially does pre-employment checks. And Eric, if you want to kind of give us a brief synopsis of your history in investigations where you've been. I think Josh did a small job at that. And then what PI Force is and how this helps the pawn industry.
Absolutely. Well, again, I'm 20 years retired in May of this year, 15 of which I was in criminal investigations. I got to meet Josh on occasion. I would go to his shop whenever I'd be looking for property, but also when they would get taken, when someone would come in with property that was fictitious and wasn't what it was supposed to be. I'm not like a lot of detectives. If you're in my city and I'm working for you, that's exactly what I'm doing. I take it personal and I work for you.
Nice.
And in good regards, if a good detective out there would read the actual pawn statute, they'd realize this man is a victim. I can't force him to give up the property because that property was taken in good faith. Now, a lot of them didn't bother to read the statute, and I'm not giving a bad mouth to any of them out there, but some of them try to do the quick fix, take the property, seize it. In my career, like I said, I've worked a little bit of everything. I've worked homicides, robberies, you name it, I've worked it. I've worked $1 million frauds. I've worked $5 frauds. I did, when doing all that, I was also doing background investigations for the police department I was working for. And that kind of where we went over into, and like you just said, for the backgrounds and so forth, a background, anybody can do it. There's so many websites out there, you can just go plug in, put the information in, and you're hoping what you're going to get back is accurate. Well, that's not good enough for me. Okay, that's why our product's called a pre-employment investigation. First and foremost, I got to verify that person on that paper is actually who they say they are. And I've had cases where they aren't who they say they are.
Wow.
I believe that I need to investigate that person because things can look very good on the surface. It's what's underneath that you need to be able to find. And fortunately, in my career, I was able to study, use different databases around the country. And we were able to develop a product that we were able to actually go into that gives me information that is just phenomenal. It goes in and I can get anything from anybody in any state. And We are the only private investigations company in the state of Florida that actually have this. This is a law enforcement tool, but because of my background and experience, we were able to also get it. And I'm doing a person a disservice if I say, hey, you know, go in there, look it up yourself, do whatever. No, that's not who I am. We had one, for instance, and I'm just going to throw it out to you. We had one that the company wasn't very sure about the individual, you know, the background that they called it came back clean. I did a pre-employment investigation. I found 23 arrests out of that individual that wasn't on the previous background.
So hold on a second. So they went online, they put this person's name and information in, and it came out clean. Then you did the pre-employment check investigation, and there was 23 arrests. 23
arrests, 3 of which were felonies.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
So the people that we are hiring in the pawn shops who are dealing with, you know, tens of thousands of dollars of cash and jewelry that we think is clean might be a felon in some cases.
Absolutely. It's according if you can find stuff through other states, which I've been lucky enough to be able to do. Like I said, I take pride in our product. I take pride in the fact that I'm actually doing a thorough investigation because that's my reputation. Yeah. That's me going out there and telling you that, yes, this is the information I found.
Now, obviously in a pawn shop, and Josh, you know this, you know, people who worked are surrounded with sometimes millions of dollars of merchandise, cash, diamonds, jewelry. And, you know, sometimes I fight with pawnbrokers because I say, hey, you're trying to pay somebody to be a pawnbroker, and sometimes they get paid the same as flipping a hamburger when they've got millions of dollars of merchandise sitting around them. So we've got to be able to trust and investigate them. So let me ask this question. At what point, Eric, should somebody call you guys to do this pre-employment check? Is it when they got the resume? Is it when they've already done an interview? At what point is the best to do a pre-employment investigation?
Pre-employment investigation should be done as soon as you get the application. You can actually send us copies of the application and we take that information, and that's when we start our investigation. If the person doesn't check out properly, there's not a whole lot of use in doing an interview with that individual. And that's a waste of the pawnbroker's time.
Agreed.
You know, I can say that a lot of times that people neglecting to see right from the get-go that it's when this individual want to work for you, he comes and says, I did this, I worked for that, I was there and this and that. So you can see probably the trend of job, sometimes up to 10 different jobs. I mean, the first question that will come to mind, and I never knew that until I started really become a private investigation company. I start to realize that when we do some of the background check, it's so deep that we can see that right from the get-go, this person lied. He did not work, not there, not there, not there. I mean, a lot of people in tendency is to lie to get a job because they're trying to build that image. And that's already a red flag. And so never mind that the using even the social security can be wrong. It could be that they have so much criminal background check. What about don't you want to know if this individual have like eviction himself? What about if he's not responsible in his own personal life? Can he be responsible for you? This is the question that always asked frequently, and people don't look at that. They say, "Oh, I'm short. I need somebody to work. I don't care." And at that point, I'm myself as 25 years in the business. I had few incidents where those individuals who worked for me, either they stole from me, and one in particular was so clever that he was going and put some items on layaway for himself. And later on, we start to realize that some things are often the Visa MasterCards. And so what he found is how to do it. It was like he's making a payment, supposedly like he make a Visa payment, but he never processed the Visa. So the software from the company was showing, oh, he made a transaction, he paid for it, but we never got paid from the Visa merchant account. So, and he did it for a while until we caught it, and we caught it by mistakes. So stuff like that. And then we started looking into that individual. Guess what? We found that he had another background, and we neglected to do it. He had some criminal background over there on his case. Wow. And it doesn't surprise me. And so that's what's happening and throughout not just our industry, but every industry. People neglect to find out information about that individual, and that brings so much liability. What about sexual harassment? What if does the individual have already a couple of those in his resume?
Yeah. Domestic abuse
Surprise you?
or stuff like that.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
And Josh, just to make you feel good, I think every pawnbroker listening has had somebody steal from them, right? Like
We have so much valuable. We have everything they want. Everybody, it's a dream job for anybody to steal.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that everybody steal, of course, but if they have previously charges, don't be surprised if they're going to do it to you too.
Yeah.
It's just that's it.
So we find the perfect employee in our eyes under the resume. Eric, we give you guys a call. We give you the resume, we give you the information, and then how long does it take to do that pre-employment investigation to get the information back?
I can have it back within 24 to 48 hours. And this is how confident I am with my service. My first one's free.
Amazing.
Yep. Send me your first one. If you don't like it, just let me know why you don't like it. But the first one's always free.
And does it look like a report, or is it like denied? Like, what is it that you say? You send them all the information that you find?
It's a full report. It's a full report. And I can customize it. I can do everything from, say, for instance, if you've got a courier service that you use with your pawn shop, because of course, everything now, nobody wants to come out and go around because of the COVID scare, and stuff is delivered. I can do driving histories. I do criminal histories. I can do address checks. The one important thing about the address check is you want to know if this is what we call a fly-by-night employee. They come in, they're only going to be there for a little bit of time because they could be 21 years old with 17 past addresses, you know? So we can find out. If you need to know what your third grade teacher and you forgot what her name is, I could probably find out for you.
That's scary, man. No, no, I love it. I think it's important because especially these days, Josh, you mentioned pawn shops are so shorthanded. And some of them are just hiring warm bodies. Like, I don't care. I just need people, put them in. And we're neglecting to think about what detriment can happen if somebody steals. And it's not just to you, right? If somebody steals a ring, a diamond ring of a client, the client can go out there and badmouth you, put you in the news, bad PR, bad Google reviews. It's a snowball effect of you making a mistake and not investigating properly.
I'll tell you that I'm not going to say what I can do because I don't want to get an idea to any manager or employees to use that. But as the year goes, I always was thinking, what if I would be criminal? How do I do that? Let's see, how can I really, let me tell you something. If I go now today, if I'm a criminal, me, and I want to go and work at a pawn shop, whatever you want to pay me, pay me. You want to pay me even $5 an hour? I'll take that job. You know why? Because I can do so much damage. And I would love to talk about it another time among maybe just owners, because there's so many things that we think we can cover, and we are vulnerable. We are vulnerable because if you are not a certified, I'll give you an example. If you're not a certified GIA, I can make so much money off of you because all it takes is just few things to do and I can create my own paycheck. What about the scrap size? What about if you are a manager and you hire somebody as your friend to the criminal side of all that? Yeah. If you don't do all of that, I mean, they can clean you up in so many ways. Mm-hmm. And the only way to know that is to start with a background check. And after the fact, by the way, we also do in-house, we do polygraph. How many people wanted to know where is that item? And it sits for like 10 years back and they still bothers them because they don't know the truth. We have customers that comes and want to do background check, polygraph for any incident. The entire staff goes into polygraph that day. We have that people. We have customers like that.
Yeah. So let me ask you this question, Eric. Is it just where I have let's say I've got a pawn shop. It's got millions of dollars in pawn. I'm in California, of course. We can do that here, and other places around the nation. I've got a manager I trust, everything like that. Can I do continuous investigations?
Absolutely.
Can I check once a year just to make sure that everything's on the up and up, as opposed to just once? Because as my father used to say, may he rest in peace, sometimes you create thieves, right? So if I've got a store, I've got somebody working with me for 5 years, I still just want to do an investigation to make sure that everything's kosher. Everything's still okay.
Very good point.
Absolutely, and we do that. I mean, we offer that service. Of course, and I'm not going to make it any secret. Our initial pre-employment investigation, we charge a flat rate of $55. I know it's a little more than some of the ones you see online.
That's nothing.
But after that, well, to get peace of mind, yeah, it's nothing. But then after that, we offer a special service if they want us to go back throughout 6 months, a year, and they want us to run that same employee. We can do that as a much lower rate.
Yeah.
Because peace of mind is everything, and also customer service is everything. I want my customers and my clients to know they can reach out to me. I've got my cell phone. My wife hates it, of course, but my phone rings sometimes at 11 o'clock at night. Just somebody saying, "Hey, thank you for what you did today. That saved me a lot of money."
Yeah.
Yeah, and that feels good.
Yeah. And honestly, $55, if you think about it, I always say this, Josh, what's $55? What is that, like today, a gram and a half? You know what I mean? Like,
Peace of mind.
it's peace of mind. It's nothing. Like to investigate somebody who's going to come into your store surrounded by hundreds of thousands of dollars, to invest $55 is pennies. So
for those, you know, the beauty of all of that is like, I think that if you touched such a, I have a case like that happened where somebody was working for me for many years, and unfortunately down the road it got into financial problem, which, you know, if somebody have financial problem, they're looking for solution. If they're weak people and they have criminal mind, what is the easiest solution is to take somebody's, not yours. And that have developed after we hired them years ago. So you don't really know what's the map or the story of your client, of your employees, even if they work for you for 15 years. I mean, a lot can happen there. So you want to know.
It happened to us. I'll tell a quick story. We had a longtime employee who ended up, you know, embezzling over $40,000. And then we found out that this person was getting into financial trouble, drug troubles, missing payments everywhere. And we found out what happened. And if we would have done continuous checks with somebody who is running as part of like the leadership of the organization, we would have figured these things out and it might have not happened. So amazing. So for those of you listening, you guys can reach out to PI Force. Eric, what's the website?
Website is PI Force LLC. Just type it into your Google search and we pop up.
It's actually pi-force.com. That's awesome. The website.
And we'll put it in the show notes, and you guys can also reach out to them at 352-444-7071. The best thing about this is that this is a product created by, which is amazing, a pawnbroker and law enforcement, ex-law enforcement together.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
So you've got both sides. You've got it from the side of the pawn shop owner, and you have it from the side of the law enforcement experience. So I think this is a brilliant. If you have a long-term employee, long-term management, long-term, office manager or whatever that is, I think for $55, it's brilliant. First one's free. Reach out to them, make it happen, especially in this day and age when we know, because of the pandemic, when the money stops pouring in from the government, people are going to be looking out for jobs, and you have no idea who's a criminal or not. Any parting words, Josh, Eric?
I can say that real quick. It's something that I have to give credit to this guy. It's a couple about two years ago. Somebody walked into my store and have tried to sell us Rolex. Actually, he wanted to pawn it. So we all know that the real like the creative criminals, they already figured the system that if you start building that emotional attachment to that particular items, they thinking they're more legit and they're more credible to sell us or to stick to us. So what happened is that this particular guy came and wanted to do a Rolex. So he did a Rolex. The Rolex with the outside was pretty good because not everybody in our industry really know that Rolex says of the item. So what did? They called the owner and said, "Hey, I have a Rolex." Or I take a picture and all that. It looked good in the picture and everything. But what I noticed that I told him, go ahead. It looks on the outside good, but I can't tell. Just be careful. Ask quality question. You get quality answers. And at the end of the day, they got the watch. They paid $4,000. At the time, $4,000 for that watch was a good offer. Today, we know it's a lot more. But anyway, long story short, when I came to look at that, as soon as I looked at that and I felt it and I looked at it a little bit closely, not in picture, I knew something is not right. Of course, opened the case, everything, that was freaking sign. It was all the movement was not right. Everything was bad the inside. And so at that point, I'm not the type of guy I'm going to say here, I'm going to give it to somebody else and stick it to it. So I came to Eric and I said, Eric, I got this case. I know that this guy deliberately ripped us off. Is there anything we could do? And I see him like scratching his head and thinking and all that. He says, you know what, let me look at that. So I think after that, what he did, he contacted I'll let you know.
Long story short, I did quite a few things. And I made contact with the subject and basically let him know that he has done this to other pawn shops because, of course, database that now I have access. I had access then. I was able to find that he did this to several other locations. And I said, look, you did that one in my city. You need to come back and either pay it or you're going to get a warrant for your arrest. He came back, paid the $4,000. He's got this $4,000 back and the fake Rolex to be able to show his employees why it's a fake.
Well, I think that what you needed to do is to go to the statute and actually to the prosecution.
It was scheming to defraud is exactly what it is. It's scheming to defraud, which is a second-degree felony in the state of Florida. And once I was able to go through that and explain that to the gentleman, of course, he wanted to give the money back post.
I mean, the best part was that you found
the story is that we have here the ability to not just to do background and all that, or maybe
pre-employment investigation.
Yes, or to do a polygraph and all that. We also can do a case review. We can help you to understand if it's a big number, if it's a big watch, if it's a big diamond, something that's worth your time to try to recoup the money. We can just a simple advice here. We can do that. We would love it because I know the industry. I know how to do that now.
Amazing.
And just to let you know, and I know that we're almost done, but we have other services that would relate to the pawn industry. I would love to come back at some later date if you have the opportunity, if you would give me the opportunity. There's so much more we have to offer, and I think that everybody would be able to take advantage of it.
I love it. And I think what they should do to start is give you guys a call to do one pre-employment check, maybe on somebody, and then that way they can see what other services they are and how you guys fit into the world of their insurance security strategy overall. So pawnbrokers listening, thank you so much for being here. Josh and Eric, this has been amazing, eye-opening for me as well, that you can do such deep dive into someone's background before their employment, which is the pre-employment investigation. And for those of you listening, check out PI Force LLC, pi-force.com, or call 352-444-7071. And if you're listening, if you're not inside the Pawn Leaders community, join us on Facebook, Pawn Leaders community, where I know Josh is a part of, and we've got thousands of pawnbrokers talking questions. I'm teaching there. Join us there today. Have an incredible day, and stay tuned for the next episode of the Pawn Leaders podcast. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.